huge step forward in the investigation.
Really?
Neo Langston was arrested.
Look at him. Got that stupid ass smirk on his face. This is crazy.
And fingerprinted and
Weirdo.
will testify in front of the grand jury.
Really?
I want to know how many times have they seen her? Was there any kind of trauma?
See what I'm saying? This kind of shit. This is what pisses me off right here. They sitting up here laughing and smiling and giggling and hee-heeing. They already knew. Allegedly, they already knew that if they are caught concealing an unalive body, evidently, guys, allegedly, if they did do this to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, that they were only going to get a year in prison and a $10,000 fine. And that's it. And that's some bullshit.
Trauma that they've ever witnessed that was inflicted upon her. Who else was in that house?
Weird.
They seem to have this infatuation.
What the fuck is up with Steve Fisher's monkey ass? Every time his monkey ass get on Nancy Gray, look like his blood sugar is low, the motherfucker is sweaty, he look nervous, and then on top of that, she clowns him each and every time. I don't know why he continues on coming back to that goddamn show, because Nancy is a goddamn fool.
With knives, there's a lot of pictures of him with like switchblade looking knives.
The way she was treated, she's objectified, she is dismembered. I think that they treated her like she is a...
Y'all need to make up your motherfucking mind. Was she dismembered or was she found in the frunk of the damn Tesla decomposing? Make up your damn mind. All this miscommunication is weird.
Toy.
Breaking news. A plea deal. And tonight, D4vd, a.k.a. David Anthony Burke, a.k.a. murder suspect, is cooked as an arrest goes down in the death of Celeste, a 13-year-old little girl found dead, allegedly dismembered in Burke's Tesla trunk. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. A home incinerator. Was it purchased at the time of Celeste's death?
Burn cages have, in fact, been used to render down human remains.
This is something you would typically find on a farm, and you got to wonder what the plans for.
Oh my God!
Maybe get rid of her permanently.
Tonight is a plea deal in the works. This as an arrest goes.
Please, not a plea deal. Please, not a plea deal. Okay. And if it is a plea deal, I hope it's not a plea deal for D4vd, okay? Because if he did this shit allegedly to little Celeste Rivas Hernandez, guys, he needs to pay for this shit. He needs to pay for this shit. Guys, the views and opinions in this video and all of my damn videos are my opinion and my opinion alone. Do whatever the hell you want to do with this particular video. Or my opinion, guys. Shove it up your, you know what? I don't give two shits. Okay, so people who I talk about in my videos, guys, they are presumed innocent until proven guilty. All right, guys, this is for educational purposes only. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this motherfucking video. Guys, we're on our way to 3,000 subscribers up in this camp.
Down connected to the death of a 13-year-old little girl, Celeste Rivas. Her body found in the trunk of highly popular D4vd, a.k.a. David Anthony Burke, a.k.a. suspect. Joining me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. What sparked news of a potential plea deal?
Burke's close friend, Neo Langston, arrested at his mother's home in Montana on an unspecified warrant issued by the LAPD. Booked for dodging a mandated appearance as a material witness in the homicide investigation, Langston is held without bail at the Lewis and Clark County Jail.
Now, we already know his ass is out. I think his mommy bailed him out. My whole thing is, why was his bail set so low? This was supposed to be some type of big online influencer. He had a couple of dollars. His friend David D4vd had a couple of dollars. His parents had a couple of dollars. Why in the fuck was his bail set so low? $60,000 bail, and this mofo is out. For what? For what? Because he refused to talk to the grand jury. And I've said this in other videos, guys. I cannot understand the loyalty that's going on with David and his stupid ass friends. Okay? David and Neo, David and what's the little girl's name? Asia Collins. I do not understand the loyalty going on with them, especially if y'all know that he unalived her. If you know for a fact that he did that, what's with all this damn loyalty? I don't get it. The shit is weird.
In Helena.
Could somebody just surprise me? Just
shit.
one time. Can a defendant not be found hiding under his mother's bed? Day one, straight out to private investigator who has become enmeshed, embroiled in the D4vd.
Look,
David,
look at Steve. Steve looks sweaty than a month. Look at his mustache. Well, lack of mustache, shall I say. His upper lip is sweaty as fuck. His blood sugar is about 40, 45. Okay, this motherfucker about to pass out. I don't know why he keep coming on this motherfucker show, because Nancy clowns his ass each and every time. There's no fucking way. Look, she would embarrass me one time. I would cuss her ass out on the show, and then she would have never asked my ass to come back. But Steve Monkey ass keep coming back. I don't get it, Steve.
Case, it's Steve Fischer. Now, high-profile private investigator, missing person private investigator, search and rescue expert.
She about to clown him.
Steve Fischer.
She about to clown him.
This all started when Langston, a.k.a. Neo, the Asian, refused to come to grand jury.
Steve, don't
and they
let
have
her
to
do
go
you
look
like
for
that.
him. And of course, he's hiding under mommy's bed in Helena, far, far away from that grand jury proceeding. So they drag him back. That
Steve looked like his ass about to throw up or something, okay? Because he is waiting. She gonna get ignorant. Now, guys, I haven't even watched this whole thing in its entirety. I have not. But this motherfucker looked like he about to throw up or pass out or whatever. I'm telling you, his blood sugar is low. I don't know why he subjects himself to this bullshit with Nancy. She's weird.
sparked discussion of a plea deal.
Deal.
I think they're right. Now, some outlets misquoted you, stating that you
Nancy,
thought
don't do him like that.
D4vd, Burke, is going to get indicted. But I think that's bass backwards. What do you think, Fisher?
Well, you said that about D4vd getting indicted. They quoted me saying is that he was making a plea deal, and then I did not say that. What I said was the fact that they were bringing Langston in on that failure to appear worried me, and I think he might be getting an immunity deal because, quite frankly, I would expect him to possibly.
Look at these weirdos. But Steve looked like he about to pass the fuck out. Look at these two weirdos. This is sad. This is sad to me.
Would be a target, and then you wouldn't typically expect them to bring a target in front of the grand jury like that. And it makes me think that maybe
hold that thought, Steve Fisher. I think you're right. Let me go to high-profile defense attorney joining.
So he cutting his ass off. Okay, I'm telling you, Nancy is weird as fuck. I don't know why people get on this goddamn show, because she cutting motherfuckers off left and right and rude in a motherfucker.
Us from this jurisdiction is Joanna Nieves, criminal defense attorney, founder of the Nieves law firm. Joanna, here's the deal. Let me just break it down.
Senseless.
He has a choice. He can either be a co-defendant or he can be a witness.
Oh, Lord.
That's how I'm seeing it from here.
Come on, Joanna. Don't let her do you like that.
I guarantee you, Joanna, LAPD, and I've heard this from an inside source, has this huge, huge wall, and they have digital tracking of phone calls.
Oh my God, she's taking too long to get to the point. Anyway, I've said this before, guys. Why did this have to happen to little Celeste Rivas Hernandez? Why was she done like this? Okay? So many rumors out there. She was beheaded. She was chopped up into little pieces. She was put in a freezer. She overdosed. So many, I don't know, so much speculation. But whatever the case may be, guys, she's still unalived. And why the hell did it have to happen? That is just crazy. And why did they go ahead and arrest Neo and then set the damn bail so low the motherfucker was out in 33 hours? This is crazy.
GPS locators, nav system of all of D4vd's friends, including him, which means they got it down to the minute. If Langston, a.k.a. Neo, was traveling along in a car, and I think I've identified one thing they're looking at, Joanna. It's the night that D4vd goes out into a densely wooded forest area late in the night, 2, 3 a.m. Many people think to dispose of a body or scout a spot to dispose of a body. If it turns out that Neo Langston phone was traveling along with D4vd's, he's up the you-know-what creek without a paddle. So he can choose. Did you dig the hole or do you want to end up in the hole, Langston?
So evidently they said that David D4vd was out in the middle of Santa Barbara in a remote area with his damn cell phone. Okay, see what I'm saying? We working with a bunch of geniuses up in this motherfucker. Why would you take your cell phone? Okay, and they said it was definitely David. It wasn't one of his friends or whatever the case may be. It was definitely David. And they could not figure out why his ass was standing out there. Now, I am sort of kind of believing his ass was out there because, guys, there was an incinerator that was purchased with gift cards under a fake name, and it was delivered to the mansion where David stayed. Okay, I am thinking that David might have been in Santa Barbara. This is my thought, guys. This is speculation. I don't know. Nobody fucking knows. All this damn speculation, including myself, I do not know. Okay, so what I am thinking is that he was out there in that remote area and he was casing out the place. He was trying to figure out, hey, can I finish unaliving her decomposing body parts that's in the frunk of my Tesla? Can I finish her off there? I've said this in other videos, guys. If she would have ever made it to that incinerator, to that burn cage, would have had the capacity of burning over 1600 degrees Fahrenheit, we would have never figured out what happened to little Celeste Rivas Hernandez. We would have just thought, okay, just a poof of smoke. Okay, that's what we would have thought. But I am thinking that is the reason why he was standing out there, because this shit don't make no sense.
So this is all assuming that he's got information to offer that might incriminate David or even himself. But he may be being called in to stick a timeline down. He may be exculpating David in some way, or another person who is a person of interest in the matter.
I'm sorry, I just choked on my tea. Hold on. Well,
she always cutting the motherfucker off. See what I'm saying? Joanna, don't let her do you like that. Do not let her do you like that, Joanna. Okay, watch out. You gotta watch out for Nancy. She's weird.
Let me see her, please. Joanna Nieves.
Uh-oh.
Did you just say, with a straight face, that LAPD puts out a interjurisdictional warrant and tracks down Neo Langston, who is D4vd's bestie?
This thing is sad.
Because he has exculpatory evidence that may exonerate Burke? That is not why they dragged him by his toes out from under Mummy's bed. No, because he has evidence. It's a grand jury investigation and charging arm.
You got to say that, guys. You get sued.
Absolutely.
Please, let's be real.
Nancy.
They want the information, but also they're required to provide all of the information, not just the things that want to paint the picture that they want to put in front of the grand jury. The grand jury may have additional questions, and Neo Langston may be able to shed light on times, places, locations, and relationships. So it may not necessarily be about this one Santa Barbara trip.
You see how weird David is? This motherfucker's weird. You a grown-ass man with a blue bob wig on. Okay, you are a grown-ass man with a blue bob wig on, okay? And evidently Celeste Rivas Hernandez, actually, I don't know, that's the same wig that she wore, but she had a wig very similar to that, okay? That's what I'm saying, guys. He was obsessed with Celeste's little monkey ass. He was obsessed with her, okay? When he met her, she was only 10 years old on the damn internet. David had a history, allegedly, of going out with young girls. He liked young girls. So when he met Celeste Rivas Hernandez, I believe Celeste turned his ass out. He got sprung. But fast forward to today, I cannot figure out for the life of me why they unalived this little girl. This shit is weird.
It may even be just about what was the nature of the relationship between David and Celeste. If there was anything inappropriate, as many people have been speculating, but there's also speculations of what the relationship may have been between Neo and David himself. So I think that we don't know what his testimony will be. I do find that it's probably going to be obviously material, that they went through these great lengths to get him there. But ultimately, just because he didn't go up doesn't mean that he's got something incriminating for himself or somebody else. He may have just been putting his head in the sand, hoping that this thing disappeared without having to participate.
Don't y'all get her started, please.
Let me ask you a question.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go.
Where did you go to law school?
Uh-oh. Joanna, be careful, Joanna. You might have to cuss this motherfucker out. I'm telling you, be careful.
Florida State, go Noles.
Go on, Joanna.
That's a great school, and you've tried a lot of criminal cases too. But I can guarantee you this technical legal term: they did not drag him back to ask him, "What's your relationship with D4vd?" That did not happen. He was dragged home from Helena, Montana, back to LA to testify in front of a grand jury and put in jail.
Okay, well, when the hell that gonna happen? Okay, he was dragged back from Montana. Okay, and then when is that gonna happen? When is he gonna talk to the grand jury? Because this motherfucking ass is out. He bailed out. When is that gonna happen, Nancy, with your monkey ass?
And that's not to find out if he and D4vd were up braiding each other's hair at night. Speaking of that, Steve Fischer. Steve Fischer. Do you agree or disagree with Joanna Nieves? And
Steve's scared to answer. I'm telling you that right now. Steve is afraid to answer. Nancy gets in his ass each and every time. Any interview, pick it out, guys. Go over to Nancy Grace's page. In any interview, Steve is looking nervous, and he's looking real nervous right now. That's what I'm saying, guys. His blood sugar got to be in the 40s all day long. He's turning red. He's stuttering. He can't get the words out. She clowns him each and every time. I don't know why this motherfucker comes back on the show. I don't get it.
Tell you what she's doing. She's a world-class defense lawyer, and she is painting a pretty picture, a pristine picture for Neo Langston.
Dogging out the guess.
I guarantee you they did not drag him all the way back to LA from Montana to find out about his relationship with David Anthony Burke. I want to hear about the disc you found in D4vd's home.
Here we go.
What photos were on the disc?
Come on, Steve, be strong. Be strong, Steve.
There's 1,100 photos on it. There's a ton, but there's Neo is in a lot of them with David, and they have a very close relationship. He's at the house a lot. He's him and about like two other people seem to always be around.
Come on now. I know it got to be some men watching this. Let's just say, hypothetically, you got a bestie. Okay, you got a real bestie. You got a guy that you hang around with. You a male, he a male. Would y'all be sitting around taking pictures like this if that's all that was to the relationship? That y'all were besties? You cannot tell me that. You can't tell me, guys. There was something going on between David and Neo. You cannot tell me that. And I've said this in other videos. If they unalive, because we don't know why they did this allegedly. If they unalive little Celeste Rivas Hernandez because they thought she was going to rat them out. There was no need to do that. You were already ratted out. Everybody already knows what was going down in Funky Town between you and D4vd. Everybody already knew, Neo. So what was the purpose? If that is the reason why y'all did it, y'all didn't have to do it. Everybody knows about this weird-ass relationship that you guys got.
Crazy to me about this, bringing him back, is that they even need his testimony, because if they haven't been able to make the case 5 months later and they need his testimony, I would think he'd be a target instead of a witness, so that's what worries me, that maybe they're going to offer him an immunity deal, which I would hate to see if he has any involvement in this.
Man,
okay, because I was trying to figure out why you're worried about it, but I see what you're saying. You want everyone potentially involved in the death and the dismemberment and the disposal of her body, Celeste, to be prosecuted. I agree. Look at her. Don't take down that picture. That is Celeste.
That's sad, guys. That is sad. Looking at this is sad as hell. Now, I'm not really sure how old she was in this particular picture, but that's sad as hell. I have always said, I'm going to continue to say, guys. And originally, I had 4 suspects. And then, a couple of months ago, I added a 5th. And now, guys, look like I might have to add a 6th. My suspects has always been David D4vd. There's a great possibility that he might have unalived Celeste, allegedly. Okay. It has been his brother Khalid. It has been Neo. Great possibility that Neo might have some involvement in it. It could have been either one of his managers, Josh Marshall, or it could have been that stupid ass manager that he has, Robert Morgenroth. Okay. And then the sixth one that I just added, because I see how silly her ass is on social media, is that damn Asia Collins. She could have been also somebody who could have helped David D4vd unalive little Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, I've always said, guys, I believe that David has some help because he is not the brightest light bulb in the motherfucking box. I tell anybody that. He is not. I believe that he unalived her allegedly, and he had to have some help. Because once he did it, he couldn't figure out what the fuck he was going to do. Now, I understand the loyalty with his brother, Khalid. And Khalid is one of my suspects. Out of the 6 people, Khalid is one of my suspects. I can understand. That's your brother. I can understand the loyalty. But at what point do you sit back and say, hey, bruh, you sick, dude. You did this, you sick. And I've said this in other videos, guys. And this is the great time for me to mention this. I've said this in other videos. I blame Celeste Rivas Hernandez. I blame her parents. Why weren't you monitoring what the fuck she did on the fucking internet? Why? Why is that? She was a kid. You don't just let kids do whatever the fuck they want to do. Okay? She was a kid. And that's why she is unalive to this very day, because y'all didn't monitor what the fuck she was doing on the motherfucking internet. That's why she is unalive. Another set of parents that I blame is David D4vd's parents. You cannot tell me that when you met Celeste that you thought she was of age. Okay, you should have been pulling your son's coattail and say, hey, who the fuck is this? Who is this little girl? How old is she? Because David sat up there and tried to pretend like Celeste was 19 when they started going out. And then to add insult to injury, this motherfucker tried to throw us off by, I don't know if he hired another Celeste or he started hanging out around another Celeste. He tried to throw us off and throw another Celeste in the mix, and that was Celeste Herrera. Okay. And Celeste Herrera looks a lot like Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Okay. And the reason why he tried to do that is because he sort of kind of figured out that we were figuring out that little Celeste Rivas Hernandez was underage, and Celeste Herrera is roughly about David D4vd's age. So he wanted to throw her in the mix and be like, oh no, I wasn't dating Celeste Rivas Hernandez. I was dating this other Celeste Herrera, who they sometimes call CC. But look at this picture, guys. This shit right here got to break your heart. This really got to break your heart. Why? And I've said this in other videos. Why was this necessary? Why, if she was going to rat you out, pack her shit up and send her back to Lake Elsinore. If she was going to rat you out because you guys were having an inappropriate relationship, guys, she had no proof. Okay? A bunch of still pictures. Unless y'all had some video footage, if y'all actually in the act, or unless she was pregnant, there was no need to do whatever y'all did to her because she had no proof that y'all was having an inappropriate relationship. It's weird.
That is Celeste. A few short years after that, she's dead.
Wow.
And I want to find out why. I'm with you, Fisher. Hey, Fisher, another thing. Guys, the reason Steve Fisher became embroiled in this is the owner of the D4vd mansion hired him to find out what the hell was going on.
Exactly.
He had the permission to go into the home and search. Where did you find the disc?
Break it down, Steve. Come on, man.
It was left behind in the house. They moved out pretty hastily, and they left a lot of stuff behind. And it was just a memory card from a camera, and it was on floor. And we were able to recover the images from it.
Weirdos.
So it's just left behind, but it was a very quick move out, and they left a tremendous amount of stuff behind it, including the burn cage, including the chainsaw, and a lot of things. So
weird.
That's how we found it.
Let me ask you something. On that disc, you said there are about 1,100 images.
Damn.
Including D4vd and Neo lying in bed together. Whoa. Were they clothed?
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, they were.
And photos of them curled up together on a sofa. Were they clothed?
They were. And a lot of these have already hit the internet because
Come on, guys. You got a bestie. I got a bestie. I'm not about to sit up here curled up like this. This shit is weird. Male, female, whatever. I don't care if you a woman and your bestie is a girl, whatever the case may be, or vice versa. Nobody gonna do all this. This is too much. This is too much.
well, he actually took off the camera and posted, like you're showing on screen now. These are the type of images, but the focus seems to be between him and his relationship with him.
Were there any women on there? Any naked photos of women, or is it all Neo and D4vd?
Yeah, there's no provocative photos. It's just women kind of in the background, actually, of him and Neo.
Okay, let me be clear, Steve Fisher. Let me see Steve Fisher. I don't care
careful, Steve.
who is whose boyfriend or girlfriend, or who's sleeping together, who's not sleeping together. Really don't care. What I care about is if there is an unbreakable bond between Neo Langston and David Anthony Burke, also known as D4.
It must be an unbreakable bond. Because why you guys are being called to the grand jury right and left, and y'all refusing to come? And in the beginning, they said that there was a body attachment placed on a unidentified female. And then all of a sudden, they arrest damn Neo. What is that all about? Or is that body attachment on that unidentified female, is that still circulating? Is something else coming down the pike? This shit is weird. What is I don't get the loyalty. I do not get the loyalty with these people.
VD. Because if there is an unbreakable bond, I'm not going to get anything out of Langston. He's not going to give it up. And if he's only being charged with failure to appear as a material witness, that's a very light sentence. He'll be in and out in no time for basically a contempt charge.
There you go.
So California bottom line, he's going to have to be given immunity. And the reason he has to be given immunity is if you're a target, you can take the Fifth.
Break it down,
the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. If the state says, okay, you've got immunity, we can't prosecute you. Under the law, you can no longer take the Fifth Amendment. So what you said at the get-go is correct. Trying to find out if he's getting an immunity deal. Is he going to be a co-defendant?
Steve's still looking nervous because he know. Guys, I haven't watched this whole thing. Okay. Nancy always clowns his motherfucking ass. Steve is looking nervous. And I've said this in other videos, guys. I'm not really sure how far along in this investigation we would be without Steve. So I don't know why he get on here and let her ass clown his ass, because this motherfucker got a wealth of information. What I do not like about Steve Fisher is that he sat up there and said, I'm not going to say anything about the farm-like tools that were found inside of the mansion. I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to mess up the investigation with LAPD. But guess what your ass did about 3 weeks ago? You brought up the burn cage. You wasn't supposed to bring that up. According to you, you were going to keep your mouth shut. And then a week later, you brought up this doggone chainsaw. Okay? To this day, guys, he really hasn't. He's kind of hinted around that there's a great possibility it might have been Neo who drove that Tesla right outside that mansion and parked it before they went on tour. Okay? And they said that that person has some very distinctive clothing on, and they hopped their ass on that damn tour bus. And guys, I've already shared with you who I believe have worn some very distinctive clothing. And it was Neo, it was David, it was David's little brother Khalid, and it was that old stupid ass manager he has, Robert Morgan Roth. Now, his other manager, Josh Marshall, he's a grown-ass man. He's not wearing distinctive clothing, in my opinion. And then people were also saying there was a great possibility that it could have been Asia. Asia, to me, wears like regular clothing that a young girl her age does. When you see David and his other crew, shit, they wearing blue wigs and this, that Hello Kitty and all this shit. They wearing all this so crazy ass shit. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about distinctive clothing. But this shit is weird. It's weird. So, Steve Fisher, when are you going to tell us, when are you going to get on here and really say who drove that Tesla? Because, guys, I haven't heard him really say who drove that Tesla 1,000%. And when are we going to get the data from the Tesla? That's what I want to know. because that data from the Tesla is going to tell us a whole lot about what happened with this particular case. And then another thing, people have been sitting around here talking about Celeste Rivas Hernandez might have overdosed. Okay, come on, guys. If she overdosed, how the hell she wind up in the frunk of the Tesla in 3 separate bags? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Because if he's along for the ride, that's aiding and abetting, slam dunk. Or is it more? Okay, while I've got Fisher on the screen, isn't it true, Steve Fischer, that you amassed ring cam and other video of the neighborhood?
Yes.
As D4vd's Tesla was moved from spot to spot. Isn't that true?
Yes, it's true.
And isn't it also true that you saw the face of who was driving the Tesla? Isn't that true?
That is true. I know where this is going.
Steve nervous. Come on, Steve.
Was it Neo?
She punking you out with the bullshit.
We've been through this before. I can't. It will come out. I can't. Listen, I don't want to take the chance of somebody. There's somebody taking justice in their own hands. And that's really a possibility in this case.
Well, if it wasn't Neo, then why would people take justice into their own hands?
Well, until we know, what people's roles are.
So when he's talking about people taking justice in their own hand, is he talking about the Celeste Rivas Hernandez family? I don't know who he's talking about. This shit is weird, but like I said, guys, to this day, he really has not said who drove that damn Tesla. People are saying that he said, but he really hasn't said it thus far. He hasn't. He's been kind of hinting around about it, but he really hasn't said it.
And whoever the driver was, I don't think people should be, I think it needs to go through the court process. And I would hate to be responsible for putting a name out there than somebody getting hurt because there was vigilante justice.
Okay, makes sense.
You're worried about putting who out there? Getting hurt.
Anybody that happens.
Just said he was going to give you the name, damn Nancy.
Because I think you said him.
Have
you handed all this over to the LAPD?
Of course, yeah. It was we handed it over, the day that we did it with a report, breaking down frame by frame.
Got another question for you, even though you're not.
Slow it down.
Point blank giving me a name. Steve Fischer, was it just one person moving the car, or did that person come with?
Good question.
A buddy? Were 2 people moving the car at the same time?
No, I will say it was one person.
One person. Every time the car was moved, because it was moved several times, was it always the same person moving the car?
So we only have a surveillance of it being moved that last day, which was July 29th, 30th. It's escaping me right now. That last day, which is the day they left for tour, we only have the surveillance of that. We have reports from neighbors of where the car was parked back in May and stuff, but that surveillance, unfortunately, had been overwritten.
An out-of-state warrant issued by LAPD is a failure to appear when Langston...
Anyway, that's interesting. He said about July 20th or something to that effect, right? Unless my hearing is fucking with me. Anyway, and the reason why that makes a lot of sense is because one of you actually sent me some information. You sent me some information concerning a gentleman by the name of Edgar Cumplido. He was unalived on July the 1st, 2025. And evidently, people are saying that David D4vd, that his Tesla had a damn dent in it. Okay, that's one of the many reasons why I got told it had a dent in it. It was dusty as hell, and it kept collecting all of these tickets before it was towed to the damn tow yard, and then they found little Celeste Rivas Hernandez unalive body in the front of that Tesla. But anyway, this Mr. Edgar Cumplido, and guys, please don't come for me if I'm saying his last name wrong. I do not mean to disrespect him. He was involved in a hit and run on July the 1st, 2025, and everybody is starting to think it could have been David's Tesla. It could have been David's Tesla. This shit is weird. And everybody is saying that, and because, guys, I have to, let me give some credit where credit was due. One of my followers, her name is Deanna M. She actually sent me some information concerning this hit and run. Evidently, they're saying, this is speculations, guys, okay? Allegedly. People are saying that David D4vd had been drinking and little Celeste Rivas Hernandez was in the passenger seat. And she witnessed David D4vd allegedly hit Edgar, who was a bicyclist. He was on a regular bicycle, and he was hit by David D4vd. And David took off. It was a hit and run. And Edgar, he wound up dying on July the 1st, 2025. So now Steve Fischer just finished saying that the car was being moved around and that he used a later, and I couldn't quite hear the date, guys, but it seems like he said July the 20th. Okay, so that makes a little bit sense, like it might connect him back to Edgar. Okay, if Edgar was unalived on July the 1st, 2025, then the Tesla had a dent in it days later. Okay, you get what I'm saying? If David unalived Edgar on allegedly, guys, I don't know. All of this shit is speculation, guys. Nobody fucking knows. Nobody was there, so that's all we could do is speculate, including my goddamn self. I tell people that all the time. Okay, so if he unalived allegedly Edgar on July the 1st, 2025, then yes, there would have been a dent in that Tesla. If indeed David D4vd unalived Edgar. Okay, then the stupid ass David D4vd, he had the nerve to make a song about drinking and driving. This is what this motherfucker did. He had the nerve to make a song about drinking and driving. Okay, what I can't understand why are you making a song about that if you did not do it. That does not make any sense. And people are starting to think that is a great possibility why he unalived little Celeste Rivas Hernandez, because he was afraid that she was going to rat him out about hitting and running Mr. Edgar Cumplido on his bicycle. It was a regular bicycle, not a motorcycle, a regular bicycle. Guys, this shit is weird. I've said this in other videos. David has already told us what he's done to little Celeste Rivas Hernandez. He said it in his music. He said it in his videos. Guys, he says it in his album covers, the artwork on his album covers. He's already told us what the hell he done to this little girl. It's sad.
Fails to appear as a mandated witness for a grand jury in the homicide of Celeste. Montana police assist LAPD when Langston captured at his mother's house in Helena. Langston taken to Lewis and Clark County Jail, held without bond before being transferred into the custody of LAPD, extradited to LA and booked.
A plea deal in the works? That's the question tonight. This after the arrest of D4vd David Anthony Burke's best friend and running buddy, Neo Langston, a.k.a. Neo, a.k.a. Neo the Asian. Okay, straight back out to Steve Fischer joining us, private investigator hired by the owner of D4vd's mansion. Steve Fischer, you mentioned immunity when you first started talking. Why did you say that? What are your sources telling you?
Steve, come on.
Well, I just think that if indeed this is for a grand jury failure to appear, if they need him, I think they're bringing him in as a witness and not as a target. And I think he would have gotten a target letter. And like you said earlier, he'd plead the fifth. So if they need him and he's got information, that means the case made yet in my mind, and he'd probably offered immunity. And I just can't believe at this point in 5 months later, and with all the digital evidence that's out there, that they need his testimony. But if they do, then I'm afraid for the case, to be honest. Yeah.
And there you see Neo Langston handcuffed, hands behind him,
but he's
with
out.
Armed
the motherfucker's out.
Law enforcement wearing tack gear, putting him in the back of a cruiser. That's from our friends at the Independent Record. And again, I find it really hard to believe that he's just coming in to discuss his relationship with D4vd. Under mommy's bed. Dr. Cheryl Arrett joining us, clinical forensic psychologist.
Break it down,
Find
girl.
her at creativeemdr.com. Dr. Arrett, thank you for being with us. Why does everybody go home and hide out at mommy's house? I mean, I've said it a million times at a BF calendar, bond forfeiture. Here's his mom's address. Just go straight out there. I'll wait. He'll be back in about 20 minutes. Why?
That is such a great question, Nancy. And I think it's because it is the safest place in the person's mind when they are running and they don't know where else to go. Running to mom is the place to be. And you're right. It could save.
Let me tell you something. I could run to my mama's house all day long, but if I done some shit like this, she gonna be like, Kelly, you need some help. Go ahead and take a shower, get something to eat, because I'm about to call the police on your motherfucking ass. Okay? That's what my mama would do. That's what a real mama would do. Okay? And then, baby, we're going to get you an attorney. Okay? But you need some motherfucking help. Okay? This is the reason. These people are sick. They are sick. You can, and I've said this over and over and over again, guys, that you cannot tell me that David D4vd's family, especially his mama, in the back of her mind, she is not thinking, there's a great possibility my son could have done this. You cannot tell me that, guys. That shit is weird.
Everybody a lot of time to just head right there. Absolutely.
Alexis Tereshchuk joining us there in L.A., Crime Stories investigative reporter. Alexis, what do we know about Neo Langston? What do we know about his relationship with D4vd?
Sad, man.
What do we know about a potential plea deal going down for either him, Langston, or Burke?
What we know about him is Neo Langston is a Twitch streamer. So he plays video games online and other people join him and watch him. Super popular, very well known. He and D4vd are best friends. Some people think that he's actually his.
See what I'm saying, guys? These little toys that they have hanging off their belt. That's what David had hanging off his belt. Little Hello Kitty toys. He had the matching hat. He had the matching hoodie on. He had the little belt with the ornaments hanging off of there. He had the matching shoes. And the reason why he had all that shit on is because Celeste Rivas Hernandez, she liked that shit. And for some reason, David started wearing this shit. As a grown-ass man, you wearing this kind of shit. He was sprung. He was obsessed with Celeste Rivas Hernandez. You can't tell me no different. Okay? But him being this big-ass streamer and all this kind of stuff, guys, that shit is weird to me. I have never heard of it. It seems like a lot of David's friends are really getting their status from David. Okay, and maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's why they feel like, hey, I'm not going to say anything to the grand jury because if we don't have David anymore, guess what? All of a sudden, we're not celebrities anymore. Okay, they're getting their 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes worth of fame off of David's back. So maybe that's what's going on here. But guys, this whole case is crazy.
Assistant, so he would help him out with everything, you know, with travel and business and booking anything for him, not his record label, just his personal assistant. They are together all the time. They're constantly together. Photos, videos, appearances live. He was there by his side for a very long time. The plea deal is just coming to light. Perhaps there may be one. The thing is, he has only been charged with failing to appear as a witness, nothing else. And as you remember in court a couple months ago, there was concern that this witness didn't show up. It stopped the grand jury proceedings. D4vd's representative from his record label was saying, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I wasn't the one that was in charge of like turning him into the police or anything like that. But the prosecutor.
Anyway, guys, she's babbling. David D4vd, guys, Google it. I've said it in other videos. He is the #1 person Googled as of 2026. But it is not because of his strange ass music. It is because everybody is in disbelief. There's a great possibility he unalived this little girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he's still walking around free. This is why he's Googled. He's not Googled because of silly ass music. He is Googled because we are all in disbelief how this motherfucker's still walking around. This shit is strange.
Prosecutors really wanted to speak to this Fred Langston. He did not show up. They expected him to show up. They were all in court that day. So it took a couple of weeks for the LAPD to get the warrant and have it served in his house in Montana, or his mom's house in Montana.
Two weirdos.
There so far has not been any release of the plea deal. And again, he was only brought here just because he failed to appear as a witness. So the prosecutors want to talk to him. They want to know exactly what he saw when he was in this house. Because he appears to be D4vd's closest friend.
Well, you know, Alexis Tereshchuk, I hear what you're saying, but he can be a witness today and a defendant tomorrow based on what happens at this juncture.
Sad, man.
Many times you and I have investigated and covered cases where we start off with one charge and it morphs into something much more serious.
Horrible.
The only thing that makes me believe he will remain a witness is because he was called to testify, and you can't make a target testify.
I don't know, guys.
And the thing is, he has seen so much more with him than Celeste ever was. There's so very few pictures of Celeste. The last one we have is from over a year ago at this point, really almost 2 years. But Neo.
Well, there's not so many pictures of her because guess what? She only lived to be 14 years old. Okay. How many pictures can you have? You only lived to be 14. Shit, it ain't like she lived to be 60 years old. You could have an abundance of pictures. She only lived to be 14 years old. She spent her 15th, which would have been her 15th birthday, in the frunk of that damn Tesla decomposing. Okay, so that's why we don't have a lot of pictures of her. She was a freaking baby. This shit is weird.
Oh, and D4vd are together all the time. So he may just have seen something. They just want to talk to him right now. But he refused to come into the grand jury.
Why?
Left the state, hid out with his mom. But then the LAPD brought him back.
They've got a chart at LAPD.
Come on, dude.
You would not believe. They've got this thing down to a timeline that's almost by the minutes, triangulated to the location.
Not triangulated.
That. And it's not just one source. When I say triangulated, it's media, social media, cell phone, Tesla, other.
Okay, where was all this triangulation when TMZ got the shit wrong? That little Celeste Rivas Hernandez was beheaded. She was chopped up into little pieces and then she was frozen. Where was the triangulation going on there? Because y'all got that information wrong like a mofo. I've said this in other videos. I don't know if you got your informant from a damn blue light special or whatever the case may be, but they misinformed you. The medical examiner's office, guys, this is from the Two Angry Men podcast. But anyway, the medical examiner and LAPD said that little Celeste Rivas Hernandez was not beheaded. She wasn't chopped up in little pieces and she wasn't frozen. My whole thing is, I'm sort of kind of, and I've said this in other videos, where has she been all this time? If she was not frozen, where has she been all this time? And guys, it's kind of hard to figure out what fucking timeline we're going to look at, okay? Because there are several timelines. And I'm not going to go over all the timelines, guys, because every day it seems like there's another timeline and another timeline, or whatever the case may be. But I am saying if she was not frozen, maybe she was held in captivity. Her little brother did get on YouTube and he sat up there and said that the last time he talked to his sister, he felt like she could not leave wherever the fuck she was. And we don't know where the fuck she was. The last time her family claimed that they saw her, she said she was going to the movies with somebody named David. Now, they knew that little Celeste Rivas Hernandez had a boyfriend named David, but they never met him. This is the allegations. Another allegation that's going around, that there's a great possibility that they did know that David and Celeste Rivas Hernandez was having a relationship and that David was paying the family off to keep their freaking mouth shut. That is another speculation, that he was giving in to the tune of $10,000 a week to shut the hell up about the relationship between Celeste and him. Speculation at the motherfucker speculation. This shit is weird.
And I'll qualify. All I'll say is other kind of GPS tracking devices.
This from our friends at Two Angry Men, Levin and Garagos. Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of a hit podcast, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. More important is the fact that he is a death investigator who has investigated over 10,000 death scenes, be they accidental, natural causes, suicide, unexplained, or homicide.
Come on.
Tonight, a huge step forward in the investigation. What impact does this have forensically on the case? Now that we know Langston has been brought back to the jurisdiction,
come on, Nancy,
and will testify in front of the grand jury. What forensically does that mean? What would you be looking for now?
Go ahead, Brady.
Okay, this is very critical, and here's why. Just give me a little bit of rope here, Nancy.
Go ahead.
The idea that all of these people we're talking about Celeste, who, you know, seems to get lost in the mix here, this child.
Sad, man.
They're all living at this same address. And when we as investigators begin to peer into what has happened, we begin to talk about all of the principles that are involved in this environment.
Man.
What points of contact are there relative to her and all of these other subjects in the house?
Man.
I think that it's critical with Langston because, look, he is at the house. We've heard this over and over and over again very frequently. So you're telling me that suddenly she up and vaporizes and you don't have any questions about, hey, what happened to Celeste? And so if he has knowledge of what happened, if there's any kind of talk that happens in this very intimate environment, well, yeah, we saw her, but now she's not.
That's that doesn't make any sense. And I've said this before. You guys have been hanging out with her. David D4vd, Neo, the managers have been, his parents have. Y'all been hanging out with her. And she shows up missing. And nobody says nothing. Nobody don't inquire about her. And then when she was found in the front of your Tesla at that tow yard, you just continued on with your tour. You didn't even get on the internet and say, post something, hey, my friend was found unalive. We're going to get down to the bottom of it. You never said shit. You just kept on with your tour. Nobody said shit. Your little entourage, you didn't decide, hey, I want you to be my spokesperson and say something about Celeste. You didn't say a damn thing. That's how I know, allegedly. That's how I know you did it. That's how I know your motherfucking ass did it, okay? Because you didn't say a goddamn thing about it. You just, like he said, poof in a puff of smoke. You were hoping that nobody would notice. That's what you were hoping. But my whole thing is, I cannot figure out for the life of me, and I've said this in other videos, what the hell did she do to deserve that? What did she do to deserve that? Please explain that shit to me. Because you know what, David D4vd? Your little monkey ass got a sister. You got a sister. Would you want somebody to do that? If you did it, guys. If he did it, you got a sister, dude. Would you want somebody to do that to your sister, you stupid motherfucker, you? Would you?
Not here. Or maybe somebody just makes an off the cuff statement. It's like, well, last time I saw her, she was in the bathroom and then she disappeared. I want to know how many times have they seen her in the past? Was there any kind of trauma that they've ever witnessed that was inflicted upon her? Because I'm going to go to those specific locations and look for any kind of trace elements that are left behind. He is a major thread in this case because he has intimate knowledge of her movements through the house.
Horrible.
What space did she occupy when she slept in this house? Is there any, and is it very specific? And also, are there any tools around the house that we weren't aware of at the particular time? Steve's talked extensively about chainsaws and burn cages and all this other stuff. And he said that a lot of stuff had been left behind. I'm curious as to what may have been taken away from there to facilitate, hang on to it, the utility of a dismemberment, Nancy. I want to know, what did they have at their disposal and who else was in that house?
Exactly.
You know, I'm very curious also, J. Scott Morgan, they've brought Neo Langston back to the jurisdiction, rousted him out of his mom's house. They've got to have his fingerprints. So were his fingerprints on any of these items, such as the burn cage, such as the implements used to, well, you know what? I've got Steve Fischer. The implements that you found there, in addition to a burn cage, which I believe you said gets up to 1,600 degrees.
And that's the thing, guys. The burn cage, and I've said this in other videos, I said this earlier. The burn cage was delivered in a fake name, and whoever purchased the burn cage, guys, they used gift cards. Okay? So my whole thing was David D4vd, was he going to put her in that incinerator? allegedly, if he did it, or his little entourage, whoever the fuck, was that their plan to put her in the incinerator? Maybe that is the reason why he was down there in Santa Barbara, standing in the middle of nowhere with his damn cell phone. The shit is weird.
You were concerned about other implements, seemingly farm implements that could be used in the dismemberment of a body. Now they've got Neo Langston. I don't think he had a record or any reason to give a fingerprint up until now. But now they have his fingerprints. What do you think they're doing with those prints right now, Steve Fischer?
Yeah, I suppose they're probably comparing them against probably prints from
That's a good
the Tesla from places, in the house. The burn cage wasn't open, but the chainsaw was out of its packaging. There was also, I'll tell you, that there was knives. David seemed to have this infatuation with knives. There's a lot of pictures of him with switchblades, but switchblade-looking knives. And I'll tell you, there was one that was on a shelf in a closet in a bowl, and that was.
So this is video footage of his monkey ass going to a high school and talking, and I guess his Robert Morgenroth can be seen video recording David talking to some high schoolers. Why is your ass even on the high school grounds? I really don't know. That shit is weird. Okay, are you looking for some more underage girls? Why are you at the damn high school? This shit is weird.
So I think they'll compare prints against things like that.
What did you say was in a closet in a bowl?
There was a knife, and listen, I will say that I used Blue Star and didn't come back with anything. But there was a knife.
He loves some knives.
The
dude is weird.
One they would use for filleting, and it's just sitting in a bowl on a shelf in a closet with nothing else in it. Nothing else in the closet besides that.
Where's the DNA?
That leads me to a question to Dr. Cheryl Arrett. Here is a guy who's basically raised in the lap of luxury. His dad is a digital expert lawyer who is handling the digital evidence for very high profile cases.
See what I'm saying? His parents, they weren't dumb people. You guys are not dummies. But how is it that you met little Celeste Rivas Hernandez and you did not question that one time that when she told you she was 19 or David told you that she was 19, you just went with it? Come on now. Y'all knew. Both sets of parents knew Celeste Rivas Hernandez, her parents knew that David was older, and David's parents knew that Celeste was younger. They already knew. So I blame both sets of parents for what happened to little Celeste Rivas Hernandez. They probably did not foresee that this shit was going to happen, but you knew that something inappropriate was happening. You can't tell me you didn't know. Say that shit.
Right. So why does he pose himself as like straight out of Compton? What's that all about?
He's a rapper. He is, I think has been very popular and understands the culture, and I think that the way that he was living was consistent with being privileged and also being in that community, and so I don't really see any discrepancy in that. I do have some.
Okay,
so they were trying to make a big deal, and I'm gonna see if I can rewind it, guys. Back here, they were saying that was the freezer. They were saying that this is the freezer. But if you really look back here, guys, this is actually look like the damn burn cage. So David, it looks like that is the box from the burn cage, if I'm not mistaken. Now, guys, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, and I'm sure one of y'all gonna point it out to me because that's what the fuck y'all do. You email me, you were wrong on that, and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't this, it was that, and this, that, and the third, whatever the fucking case may be. Anyway, I'll just wait for the email. But that does look like that is the burn cage. People were bringing up that David had a freezer in his house. Okay, whoop-de-doo, that means nothing. Who doesn't have a damn freezer in their home? They might not have a damn sub-zero freezer, but you got a damn freezer in your house. Okay, the average American, 9 times out of 10, will have a freezer in their damn house. But that looks like the burn cage. It does look like it to me, guys. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
See in that. I do have some.
Okay, so have you ever been to Compton?
What I mean is I don't see any discrepancy between him being in rap culture and being privileged. I understand that he wasn't living like he was in Compton, of course.
Okay, Joanna Nieves joining us, criminal defense attorney, founder of the Nieves Law Firm. He is assuming the persona of a badass rapper. Okay. He is a privileged kid whose parents fed him with a silver spoon.
That's what they do.
What's with that?
I mean, I think we can't blame him for his artistic expression, right? This is exactly that, a persona. It's a trap.
Come on. Ain't nobody want to follow a rapper who's straight out of Beverly Hills. Okay, you grew up in Beverly Hills. What the fuck you got to rap about? Okay, that's why he's trying to act like he's from somewhere a little more harder. I never heard that the motherfucker said that he was straight out of Compton. This is the first time I heard about it. And when Nancy sat up there and asked her, hey, you ever been to Compton? Fuck. I'm going to tell you what, guys, back in the day, I had visited some of my friends, and they live close to Compton. And I said, hey, I just want to, just to experience it. Let's just do a drive-through. They was like, fuck no, you can borrow my car. You can go by your damn self, but we're not going to Compton. And they say, we highly recommend that you don't take your motherfucking ass over there. So I have been near Compton, but I have not been through Compton. So, but anyway, guys, I heard Compton is not a nice place to visit. You know what I'm saying? That's not a tourist spot. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I never heard David say that he was from Compton. I don't know where Nancy is getting that from. I could be wrong. Who knows?
Attracting fans, it's attracting viewers. It's what gets it gets paid.
He's trying to seem
but
hard.
It doesn't necessarily mean that that's who he is at the core, and that he can be prosecuted for what he put on display in his concerts or his performances.
You're trying to be hard, Nancy.
I don't believe anyone suggested that he's going to be prosecuted for his performances. His performances are great.
What
I'm saying is he had a completely different persona.
What are you listening
than who
to, girlfriend?
He actually really is. Okay, to Joe Scott Morgan joining us. Now that back to where we started here, I took us on a circuitous route.
She cuts motherfuckers off.
Back to where we started. Neo Langston was arrested and fingerprinted. We have the prints. Now what do?
I'm going after DNA, hands down. As a
there
matter of fact,
Boom.
Anybody that occupied the space, I'm getting a buccal mucosal swab off of them. And also, I would hope that the scene has been thoroughly searched, that it was.
Now that was, and I'm going to rewind it a little bit, guys, so you can see. I hope I don't screw this up. I'm probably going to screw it up. That was let's just rewind it a little bit, and then I'll stop it, guys.
Took us on a circuitous route. Back to where we started. Neo Langston was arrested and fingerprinted. We have
that was his
the
brother,
prints.
Guys.
Now what do?
I'm going after DNA, hands down. As
Let's
a matter of fact,
this a little bit longer,
anybody
guys.
that occupied the space, I'm getting a buccal mucosal swab off of them. And also,
break it down.
Hope.
See, that's his brother Khalid. This is his brother Khalid, and this is yet one of my other suspects. Okay. Because I am thinking maybe David unalived little Celeste Rivas Hernandez, allegedly, and he asked his brother to help him hide her, conceal her unalived body. And this is supposed to be Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Evidently, she was at a concert with Khalid, David D4vd concert, and the mother and the sister, and I believe at least one of the managers, which was Josh Marshall. Okay. Now, I've said this in other videos. I'm not really sure of Josh's involvement because Josh said himself he has a 14-year-old daughter. Okay, that could have been Celeste Rivas Hernandez's age. And if I took that as when he said that, pretty much saying that I think that he would intervene if he would have known that David D4vd was allegedly dating somebody that young. That's the way I took it.
That the scene has
wrong.
been thoroughly searched, that it was sampled by law enforcement for any other sources of DNA. And Nancy, listen to me and listen to me good.
Why is he at the
I'm
school?
going to go here in this particular case. I'm not just merely talking about touch DNA. I want to know if there's any seminal deposition around this place. I want to know who it links back to. I want to know who was there. Because as far as I'm concerned, Celeste's case, it's got a it has a flavor to it relative to the way she was treated. She's objectified. She is dismembered. I think that they treated her like she is a play toy.
Was she
And
dismembered
I
or
want to
not?
know, in intimate spaces around that house, bedrooms, sheets, toilets, I don't care where it is, you pursue this as fully as you possibly can. And as my granddaddy used to say, let the hide come
Not
with
your
a hair.
granddaddy.
Whoever's
What?
there, we're going to develop a
What
profile
the
on
fuck?
them,
I never
and
heard
they're
of
going to
that,
be brought in
sir.
for questioning. Now, some of the stuff is going to be very passive. You know, you can have touch DNA, and I think that defense attorneys will argue this. Well, they occupied the space,
Why
so
did
you would
this
expect
happen,
to find.
man?
But you have to consider the source of the DNA. What is it? Because some things are richer than others. We've got tons of cases out here, Nancy. We're solving them now based upon seminal deposition that took place years and years ago. It all depends on how far the investigators and scientists are willing to go in this particular case.
Horrible.
Joe Scott, you keep referring to touch DNA and seminal deposition. You're throwing around a lot of highly technical forensic terms. When you say seminal fluid, you mean which suggests sex activity.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when you're talking about touch DNA, could you...
Come on, Nancy. You acting slow than a mofo. You don't know what seminal fluid means? Come on, girl. You got how many kids you got? You don't know what that means? Girl, stop it now. Stop.
Explain that as only you can do so well.
Nancy.
Yeah, I would love to. So, listen, the Jergens has made tons and tons of money, right, off of dry skin. The reason we have dry skin is that we have dead skin cells that we slough every day.
Exactly.
People don't realize this. You slough thousands of these things all of the time. So when you touch a surface, you can actually leave behind a skin cell, and it's not going to be a complete DNA molecule. It's going to be fragmented, but it can be amplified, and you can develop a profile on that. That's where I'm drawing this difference between the sourcing of the DNA. Okay. So yeah, you would expect somebody that's touching a doorknob, a counter, those sorts of things, or even handling, you know, cookware, knives, cutlery, anything like that.
This is horrible.
You could find touch DNA in these environments, but it's a completely different animal when you begin to think about bodily fluids. All right. We're at another level at this point. And so we would have questions relative to this. Maybe it means nothing, but you know, as you know.
So Celeste Rivas Hernandez, guys, if she was trying to rat David out as to like saying, hey, we are in a relationship, it's inappropriate, and I'm going to tell people, maybe that is the reason why she was unalive. I've said this in other videos. She had no proof, and we don't have no proof. All we have thus far, unless the LAPD pulls something out their ass, all we have is still pictures, okay? We don't have them actually in the act of having relations, if you know what I mean. We don't need to get graphic up on this mofo. But anyway, we don't have any proof that that was going on. There was at one time some allegations that there was a great possibility that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was pregnant. Come to find out that she was not pregnant. Okay. Now the LAPD and the medical examiner's office, they are not giving us any more information because people are saying, you know, it's causing more harm than good.
We're learning an indictment looms, and it is a homicide indictment. And the home incinerator doesn't show up. They're like, hell, you know, let's put her in the trunk. Back up and punt.
I don't think these are geniuses by any means.
Exactly.
Tonight, the last known photo of Celeste Rivas, and what does it prove?
Break it down.
It was found by none other than private investigator Steve Fischer.
Come on,
Tell me
Steve.
about the photo and how you managed to date it.
Yeah, so it was a photo that was on the card that we found, and the EXIF metadata that's embedded inside.
So this is supposed to be the last known picture of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. If you look really closely at the picture, guys, she's got this hoodie on, and there's a bunch of holes in the hoodie. This is supposed to be the last picture. This was supposedly have been taken on January the 2nd of 2025. Now, remember, her unalive body was found in the frunk of the Tesla September the 8th of 2025, which would have been a day after what would have been her 15th birthday. She never got a chance to see her 15th birthday.
The photo shows that it was taken January 2nd, 2025 at 5:05 p.m. at Baldwin Hills, the scenic overlook. And this picture is always really hard for me to look at because she just looks so lost and confused and, 14 years old and some guy.
I don't see where she looking lost and confused. I don't get that. Maybe some of y'all get it. I don't get it. It looked like she's cold, and it looks like she knows that somebody's taking the picture. It's obvious it's not a selfie. I don't think it's a selfie, but I don't see lost and confused. It looks like she knows somebody's about to take her picture, and it's cold as hell outside. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know what Steve looking at.
Has lured her into this life away from her family and her school, and she just looks sad, and it's really hard.
You can't even see her face. What are you talking about? You can't even see her face.
When you say lost and alone, what do you mean by that? Somebody was with her. Someone took that photo. On whose digicam was it taken?
Yeah, I just mean lost and alone. Like she's gotten herself in this situation with David. David took this photo, and I don't think she was happy anymore. And
probably not,
at the beginning it was probably, there's this celebrity or whatever. But now she's been brought into this world. But that poor girl, she just looks like she's just defeated to me.
This 14-year-old girl dead and dismembered, decomposing in the trunk of David Anthony Burke. That's
what I'm saying. Is she dismembered or not? Make up your motherfucking mind, okay? Because all I know is that she was decomposing in the frunk of the Tesla, okay? I don't know when this dismemberment came about because TMZ said that she was dismembered, she was beheaded, and come to find out that was a damn lie. So what are we talking about now? It's
Tesla moved repeatedly to avoid getting towed. Ultimately, it was towed, and that's the only reason her body was even found.
Exactly.
It was in such a state.
Oh, baby.
We believe that no COD can be determined cause of death. Before I go to Joe Scott Morgan on that issue, Steve Fischer, you stated that this photo is believed to be the last known photo taken of Celeste in life, January 2, 2025.
Sad, man.
In the late afternoon, just before dark. Where is the photo taken?
Baldwin Hills Scenic Overlook, which is kind of like in the heart of LA here. It's kind of like maybe in between Hollywood Hills and LAX.
And you're stating that this was taken on Burke's camera or cell phone, you think?
It was taken on a camera, not a cell phone. He had a standalone EOS.
And see, David, and I'm gonna rewind this a little bit, guys. I'm gonna rewind this a little bit. Hold on
camera
1 second.
Or cell phone, you think?
I want to show you something.
It was taken on a camera, not a cell phone.
So David took a selfie, just like he's doing now. He took a selfie. And he took a selfie on January the 3rd, 2025. In the mirror, just like he's doing now, looks like he's taking a selfie in the mirror. Thing is, guys, that hoodie was found behind him, either on the floor or in the hamper. The very hoodie that Celeste Rivas Hernandez allegedly was wearing was found in that hamper, okay? Or on the floor, whatever the case may be. The same distinctive hoodie that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was wearing was found in that hamper or on the floor. My whole thing is, do y'all both own that hoodie? Or did Celeste only own the hoodie? But evidently, if that was the last photo taken of her, which was January the 2nd of 2025, how is the hoodie in David's house on January the 3rd, 2025? What's up with that? That does not add up. So that's letting us know that on January the 3rd, 2025, unless you guys had the same hoodie, that you had some interaction with her.
He had a standalone EOS or camera that was DSLR.
Okay. What do we believe? What have we been led to believe, Steve Fischer, about the approximate date of her death?
Break it down.
So
It's getting good now.
this photo is the last one that we're aware of. LAPD may have more. I just want to make that clear. But January 2nd, 2025, and I'll tell you, shortly after that, the behavior of the Tesla, the black Tesla, changes. There's no more photos of it appearing in David's Instagram like it used to. And then on February 1st, a new Tesla is leased.
Wow.
And so I think, I think something could happen in January. I mean, I know investigators have thrown around like April timeline, but I think it could go back as far as January.
What date approximately do you believe the Tesla started moving around in the neighborhood? And we were misled at the get-go by our own calculations. We were basing time of death, connecting it to when that Tesla started moving around. But that may or may not be true. It may be arbitrary. She may have been dead long before she...
And I've said this in other videos, guys. David first said that the damn Tesla, and guys, I'm sounding like a motherfucking broken record. But anyway, David said that the Tesla was stolen. Okay, when he found out we wasn't buying that, then he turned around and said that the Tesla, he sold it, but he did not have time to transfer the title. But my whole thing is, and I've said this, guys, in other videos, if that is true, if you sold that Tesla, you didn't get a chance to transfer the title, why is that Tesla still in your neighborhood being driven around and parked around to different locations? That doesn't make sense. Now, true enough, and I'm giving you an alibi, David D4vd, with your monkey ass. Why? I'm giving you an alibi. Maybe it's a great possibility that you sold it to one of your neighbors, and that's why it's still being driven around in your neighborhood. But in that fancy smancy ass neighborhood where Holly Berry used to live, why is it that somebody wouldn't park the Tesla in their garage instead of leaving it outside? See, that shit don't make no sense. And if that Tesla really belonged to somebody else, why was your friend found in the frunk of the Tesla? See, that shit don't add up.
It was put in the car trunk or long before it started moving around the neighborhood.
It's weird.
So what's our best guess, our best educated guess about her date of death, Steve Fisher? What do you think?
I think it goes back to January. And now people note, and the private security company note, that around May is when the Tesla starts moving around. But keep in mind, the temperatures in January, February are really, they're very cool. So if she's in that front trunk, I'll tell you that neighbors across the street reported to me that they had a dog die in February, and they buried that dog in the backyard, and they were getting this foul odor, which is right next to where the Tesla would park. Anytime the temperature would get above like 75 degrees, they thought they didn't bury the dog deep enough. And this dog died February 22nd. So...
Okay, wait. Is this going where I think it's going? You're saying that the stench of Celeste's decomposing body, this little girl, was mistaken for a dead dog that had been buried?
Well, they were getting this odor in the backyard, and they were going to rebury the dog. And then once this all went down and the Tesla disappeared, they didn't have to rebury the dog. The smell went away.
My stars.
So guys, you guys send me information all the time, and I like to thank Deanna, because Deanna be sending me some pertinent information. Not saying that you other guys don't send me pertinent information, but this is coming from Deanna. Deanna got some shit for your ass. Okay. I appreciate you, Deanna, very much. So she sent me this from SF Investigate, and this is from Steve Fischer, for those of you who are not familiar. So Steve says, David's Tesla, which held the remains of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, was released to an individual who presented notarized paperwork authorizing the vehicle's transfer. I've verified this. This is what Steve is saying. That person then transferred ownership into their own name. Okay, so they transferred the car's ownership into their own name, meaning it's no longer in David D4vd's name. This shit is weird. I can't disclose, this is what Steve's saying, the new owner's identity without violating the rules of my DMV access as an investigator. This is also why I always redact license plate numbers even when they're publicly known. As a licensed investigator, this is what Steve is saying, with direct DMV access, if I have run that plate number, I had to redact it even if it is public knowledge, since there is a group that thinks I am trying to hide the plate number even though they know it. That is weird. It is clear that this was a calculated move to get the car out of public view and out of David's name. I wouldn't be surprised if it was crushed. This is weird, guys, and I'm going to blow this up, guys, so you guys can see exactly what I am seeing. Okay, this is weird, but I have said this before. I have said, and matter of fact, guys, let me stop lying. Actually, one of you guys contacted me and told me that you thought that leaving that Tesla right out there, that was not the final plan. And I always thought, damn, if that was the final plan, that was dumb as hell. But one of you actually reached out to me and you told me your theory, and then your theory became my theory. And look at it, I'm sitting up here lying like I came up with the shit, but I didn't. But in a nutshell, you said that you believed that the final plan was for somebody to possibly, after that Tesla was driven outside of that mansion and left there, that somebody was supposed to come and pick that car up. Now, I've said this in other videos. Either they want to crush the car, set the car on fire, drown the car, whatever the case may be, that there was a bigger plan for that car. The whole plan couldn't be that stupid ass plan leaving the car out there. That was weird as fuck to me. But anyway, one of my followers actually told me about that plan, and all of a sudden I'm saying, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I am believing that the person who was supposed to get the car, either they did not know that little Celeste Rivas Hernandez unalive body was in the front of the Tesla. I don't know how you couldn't know that because of that funky ass odor that was coming out of the Tesla. Or B, they did know. And maybe they got scared. Maybe they got scared like, hey, I don't want any parts of that. And that's why the car eventually got towed, because the person who was supposed to pick up the car allegedly didn't pick up the car in a timely fashion, and it got towed. And once it got towed, it was at the tow yard roughly about 2 days. And after it got towed, guys, and it was there for 2 days, guess what happened? The tow yard staff started smelling a funky ass smell. And voila, that's how they found the unalive body of little Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Guys, this is sad. It really is. So I have another follower who wanted to share this beautiful song that she created. Her name is Kathy D. Her name is Kathy D. Beautiful song, guys. I'm gonna share that with you. And it's a real tearjerker. Let's check it out. Sad.
Extinguished light that shines so bright. Who did this to you? If we only knew. Yearning for adventure, something new. You were taken away, disposing of you. So many people with tears on their face. The people who did this is such a disgrace. In a car you were left in, nobody knew. Vanishing from sight right out of the blue. Never have met you, but hurting inside. You were left on the street for your final ride. All you needed was to be loved and with care. How could they do this? Your death so unfair. A celestial star should be named for your light. As we gaze towards the heavens, we see a star turning bright. Celeste, this song is in honor of you. Never forgotten, your light shining through. Praying for closure, you have been cheated. Life full of dreams that they have deleted. A star